for each other. Mahalo.
Hello, my kako. My name is LEASES from Maki. I am a kupa and kama of the Waimanu and Waipio valleys on the island of Hawaii. But for the past 8 years, I've been a resident here in Kahuku as well as in Laie currently. Moko umanao, kapai loko koku vai. Kaole pono HAWAIIAN, kahohoia. Na lisa men kela no mea apau, Ahupua liko Amerika. I just wanted to add my voice to the resounding chorus of no, to no more leases to any of the military units in the military machine of the United States of America here in Hawaii. I'm a firm believer in what was taught to me by Mokupuni, that the way in which you malama, the way in which you relate to and treat the aina, is the way in which you relate to and treat people. And the United States military has not been a very good caregiver of the land, nor has been a good neighbor, a good occupier, whatever you want to call it, of Hawaiian people, or people in general here in Hawaii. The United States military has been a main contributing factor to the fact that Hawaiians always consistently show up in all of the negative statistics in our society, whether it's lowest income, lowest education, houselessness, etc., etc. And that is because of our distance from our aina. Put on because of the military. We're not afraid of being attacked by anybody else when you're the first ones to attack us anyway in 1893. Makes no sense. And even when the Japanese came and attacked Pearl Harbor, they weren't attacking Hawaiians, they was attacking Americans. They were attacking us. So if you have this idea that we need to practice war, my mind thinks back to Auntie Loretta Reedy's comments back in the 70s for Kahu'olawe. Instead of practicing war, why not practice aloha? Why not practice love? Why not do something that's actually beneficial for our people and for our aina? Because all the things that you do is a lie. The way in which you malama the aina, the way in which you have related to the aina is nothing but death. And so you put that on all of us as well. You have no care for us. This facade that you have, this militarism facade that you say you will care for the people and help the people and want to benefit the people, when we know the only thing that you brought since your first coming here, 1893, is death. So I just want to mahalo to all of our hoahana, all of our ohana from all over the Moku for coming in to supporting this area. Again, I'm not a kupa, I'm not of this area, but I'm a descendant of this aina, and I just want to add my voice to the chorus. A'ole.
Aloha, my name is Iulai. I'm an attorney at Earth Justice, and our office has been involved in environmental review processes and litigation related to the Army's training areas across Hawaii Pai'aina, including Mākua, for decades. And our office has raised serious concerns about the manner in which the Army conducts activities in these culturally and environmentally sensitive lands. As a threshold matter, we kako'o the community and emphasize a clear community position that the continued military occupation and use of Mākua, Kahuku, and Poamoho training areas for military training is hewa and should cease immediately. Our office submitted comments during the scoping review period raising numerous concerns that have still not been adequately addressed in the draft EIS. I won't detail them all tonight, but I will quickly note a handful of egregious oversights that have not been adequately addressed. The EIS fails to address impacts associated with the U.S.'s involvement in the illegal overthrow of Hawaii, the continued military occupation, degradation, and desecration of kingdom lands, including state-owned lands, inflicts severe cultural and psychological harm on the Native Hawaiian people who were unlawfully dispossessed of these lands. This has not been adequately addressed in the EIS. The no-action alternative must consider, but fails to consider, the substantial benefits that would come from terminating military occupation and use of state-owned lands. Decades of military occupation have destroyed habitat and the endangered and imperiled species that rely on that habitat. It's caused extensive erosion and sedimentation, noise, and contamination of our lands and waters. Ending leases would confer substantial benefits by preventing further degradation and would trigger the Army's kuleana to clean up these lands. The Army's lease has largely put public trust lands off limits to the beneficial use by Native Hawaiian community and the general public for generations, and severely limits access to cultural, subsistence, and recreational purposes. And often the Army suddenly and unilaterally shuts down public access altogether. The analysis of alternatives and mitigation measures in the draft EIS, or lack thereof, are insufficient to minimize impacts of continued military occupation and use of these lands that the Army seeks to retain. Lastly, I'll note, we're also greatly concerned with the Army's proposed land retention methods, all of which are incompatible with existing law and the state's obligation as trustee of our public lands and public trust resources. When the Army's lease expires in 2029, the current military training activities are prohibited unless one of the Army's proposed land retention methods are approved. The first method, a new lease, requires that the conservation district rules be amended to specifically allow for military training. These are the laws that are meant to protect important natural resources that are essential to the preservation of our natural ecosystems and the sustainability of our water supply. To amend these laws specifically to allow for the destruction, degradation, and contamination of public trust resources contradicts the express purpose of state conservation rules. It would be a gross violation of the state's public trust duties, and it would set a dangerous precedent of amending rules to legalize prohibited uses. The second method would be a land exchange, and to the extent that the Army has any surplus lands available for a potential land exchange, under Public Law 88-233, the U.S. government is already required to convert any surplus lands in its possession to the state without monetary compensation or consideration, making any potential surplus lands unavailable for a proposed land exchange. The third method is a purchase, and the alienation of any public trust lands for a real estate transaction would result in the permanent loss of land. This is inconsistent with the state's public trust duty to preserve trust property for the use and benefit of Native Hawaiians and the general public. So in sum, the Army's proposed land retention action has potential for lasting impacts on present and future generations and necessitates full and meaningful analysis of impacts, alternatives, and mitigation measures, which is grossly inadequate in the current draft EIS. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Woods, and I'm the probably sole supporter of the renewal of the military lease at the Kahuku training grounds.
Aloha.
I believe the military needs to be in a state of readiness for all of its operations, and the training grounds are an integral tool for true preparedness. Stewardship of the land is of vital importance, and the state must make its standards a condition of the lease. I feel that compared to the state, the military is better equipped both financially and with manning to act as land stewards, although from what I've heard tonight, that's many people disagree. But thank you.
Thank you very much. 186.
My name is Dr. Line Noe Cruze. I live in Kolaloa. I am testifying against the U.S. Army retaining any state lands, anywhere, and outside of the 3 installations, including the 3 installation, or otherwise using the lands for secret Army installation and combat readiness training, as your website states. I am against retaining all the land. I am against retaining most of the land. We are here only for the 3 installation sites, which, as you said earlier, is 6,322 acres of state lands. But the entirety of the U.S. military leases is 18,000 acres, which we have yet to discuss. I am testifying in strong support of the no action alternative, no retention of state lands after 2029. As a planner by trade, it is highly manipulative of your U.S. Army's website that hosts the EIS description. They call their continued state land lease simply a real estate action. Look it up. I was born in 1976 here in Kahuku. My entire life, as was stated earlier, all I've known is the Army that uses this land. They come with a lot of guns and their convoys right here in the cafeteria and Y building and W building, the administration. You can hear the helicopters. You can hear, you can hear all of these helicopters and Army training. You cannot access these lands for $1 because you require more lands to access the lands in what you use for the lands. Question, does anyone know over 60 years what these lands are actually used for, the land uses? And any time has the U.S. Army given any of us any substantial evidence as to what the land uses are, what it was before they landed here, or what they're using for right now? Anyone in this room? Well-being. I am a graduate of Kahuku High School. My 4 children attend this school. Right here in this cafeteria is where they eat. Question raised earlier. The Army and the EIS constantly talks about historical. I'd like to talk about well-being. For those of us that use these lands, what do you use these lands specifically? In the Army website, there is no detail except for maneuver, access, and training. What do you use these lands for? How can we, as Joy animated earlier, provide evidence or talk about the impacts to environmental devastation at diverse lands if we have no idea what your lands, how you're using the lands, and who is using the lands overtly and covertly? This is highly improper for us, and you expect us to provide testimony for things you've never provided us information about to begin with. There is no public information on your website, on the U.S. Army website, on the state website, on the federal website, on what exactly lands here in Kahuku or KTA have been used since 1964, 60 years. Anyone here know what these lands are used for? In terms of 1,150 acres of how much of these lands are used with express and lease purposes, how can you evidence to us what the biodiversity or what the priority for Army maneuvering exercises, defense sites when dealing with basic military transportation? What has the military provided to our community? What is the comprehensive, spatially explicit analysis of its land use change, biodiversity content, when it comes up to right now, 60 years to July 11, 2024. The EIS is not for me to prove to you what damages to the lands. It is what for the Army to prove to us how you are going to leave the lands, how you received it before you landed. There is no Army installation in all of America where the lands were left before you arrived. Therefore, the community does not have to prove the negligence or your negligence to what is happening to the lands and how it's impacted adversely today. The Army must prove that to us. If after 60 years you have not done that, I will absolutely take no action alternative, and everyone should, because it's your kuleana to provide that evidence to us, not stand here and provide that to you. This is ridiculous.
I'm not a big public speaker kind of person, so
Love you anyway.
I'm one of those weird people that always sees positive. And so I want to plant for you the seed of what positive would happen for you if you did not have this lease renewed. Consequence. There is nothing more important in military training itself than understanding the nature of consequence. And if you, a bad tenant, are allowed by this landlord, let's call it, yeah, to renew your lease, you will not learn consequence of what your actions should have. And so, as a mother, teacher, ex-military, I tell you, it would be good for you to lose this lease, to learn the consequences of your actions, and to install that into your training.
Good evening, I'm Stan May from Sunset Beach, and I'm in favor of the renewal of the leases for the military. I strongly support the military. I think there's a lot we take for granted. We have the freedom to come to a community meeting like this, our freedom of speech, okay, to express our opinion. I think we take a lot for granted. Military is putting their lives on the line every day. My parents fought in the Second World War. I lost an uncle, and he has a memorial at Pearl Harbor. You know, fighting for those freedoms. And if you look at your other options, okay, China under Xi or Russia under Putin, you wouldn't have the ability, you know, freedom of speech. And how would the Kauai community have done? During World War II, during World War II, it was a struggle against Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. If Nazi Germany had won that war, I can tell you, we would not be having a community meeting like this. And I really question how the Hawaiians would be under that kind of a system. When we became a state, there was a referendum, and over 90% of the residents of this state were in favor of that. And I think that would be the same today, to continue to be part of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 189.
Majority of them were military wives.
189. 190. 190. 191. Aloha.
Aloha kako.
Aloha.
I'm not from Kahuku. I'm from Hawaiian Homestead. And I want to thank the people of Kahuku and this area for allowing this to be a communal meeting. Okay. My name is Lei Nihiu. I'm not standing alone per se. I'm standing with the 40,000 signatories to the Coup position, my ancestors, for which he's giving me authority to speak today. And added to that is the 40 generations. I stand on the EV of my 40 generations who also giving me the authority to express my mana'o to not renew the leases, no sale, no extension, and the U.S. military gotta get out of Hawaii. You're no longer welcome into our house. You came to our table, we greeted you and did all the wonderful things, but you spoiled everything. So you need to leave. I'd like to also, to all the speakers that also stood up here tonight, tomorrow night and last night who spoke in opposition that I stand in solidarity, my family and 40,000 Tupuna. And all those who are in support of no more leases to the United States military, okay? We're carrying that. I'm standing alone, but I am not alone, okay? Also, that gentleman, he brought up something pretty interesting, you know, he said that whole referendum thing, that's bullshit history, okay? They immigrated the people here just for that vote, okay? Because that's going on in New Caledonia, okay? They immigrated people to change the vote over there, okay? But what is really interesting about the World War II that he decided to bring up, I was going to let that thing go, but I'm not going to let it go now, okay? When they would drop the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, yeah, the atomic bomb and the hydrogen bomb, the maker of that bomb was what? Oppenheimer. And so instead of dropping the bombs on the people who started the whole thing in Germany, where was the tactical decision there? It was not a tactical decision. It was definitely influenced by racism. And that's what we experience here. We have a history of military-backed racism in our government, and all through the generations. I myself have experienced that in my own family. My brother joins the military, he comes back hating Hawaiians. Because he couldn't be a Hawaiian while he was in the military, and he couldn't be white because the white people thought he was too dark, the black people thought he was too white. So he grew up hating Hawaiians. So that's your history, not our history. And for the two sisters who brought up the most important points, everybody brought up important points, but the one that brought up about the EIS, inadequate, right? It's it doesn't have all the research. That needs to be thoroughly given more substantial evidence to what you're doing. And our teacher that was high school mother of 4 who raised her kids, she's right. Military has never provided any information about what they do with our lands. And here we have to prove ourselves why we need the land. You folks have yet to show your aloha. I was there when they tried to stop the bombing of Kahuku. I was a failed in illegal access though, but we tried to stop that bombing. It took a good 30-something years to do that. So we want to stop any renewals, any more destruction of the military influence on these islands and return it to where it belongs. I stand with my tupuna. I stand with my great-grandfather, who's also knighted by the Queen, to uphold that Constitution. So here I am. I am the evidence of why I have to stand here and take offense against you folks.
Moku. 193.
192.
Yeah, okay. 192.
Ready?
Hawaii. My name is Ernie Foster. I'm a descendant of Kahuku ancestors. We're the family that refused Kamehameha to be part of the Okino class that existed in the LEASES during that time. You need to understand that tonight's meeting is really a farce because the government of Hawaii and the military has already signed the lease. If they want to have this public hearing to appease the public to thinking that you have a voice for what's going to happen in the future. You need to understand the real history of Hawaii and what really had occurred. When Hawaii became a territory of the United States, the military was a strong arm of the Sugar and the Pineapple Corporation at that time. Queen Iulai was overthrown by Sanford P. Dole and the plantation owners at that time. The military were the Coolies that took over the land from the people of Hawaii. And we need to understand that process from that time and then to where we are today. Corporate America, the military, and they exploited the people of Hawaii and becoming puppets of the American government. We need to understand that clearly, because when we see our brothers and sisters going into the military and coming back being named from the wars that they were involved in, from Vietnam, from World War I, World War II, and all those times of the first war that occurred during that time. Yet even today, we have our sisters and brothers going into the military and coming back, not being represented well by the Veterans Administration. And you can talk to these veterans and they'll let you know clearly what is happening into the military and what they have not done for the people of Hawaii.
Sir.
Confiscation of the private agricultural lands has occurred because the military is taking some of the most primary lands in America, here in Oahu, and also in the neighbor islands as well. We need to understand that process again, to knowing clearly why we're fighting against this kind of military process that they think we should follow.
Sir, can you
Why
please
was
let me
taking place at one time? The people themselves were sacred as they was. Much more than we believe what they were, even to today. And we need to understand that whole process.
Sir, I do need you to wrap it up, please. Please.
Schofield Barracks, Kolikoli Pass. This was prime lands that the Hawaiians used. Aeroplanes, and definitely what happened during those times of the Waiwa, Ahupua. Many of the Hawaiian villages and the heiaus were destroyed by the military. We need to understand that clearly. Why we're fighting against this kind of misleading measures by the military. You should not be fooled by what is going on. Even with the American, or should I say, the corporate media saying that they're doing us a favor. Yet we all know clearly, and the majority of us in this room knows clearly what we're being misled.
Sir.
The destruction of the plants and the earth that existed in Mākua Valley and Ahupua Valley. You need to understand what happened in those times. The people of this land that existed before the military took over. It was such a beautiful place to live in. That we don't really see that from our time, but we have to go back to history to really understand what was going on. We cannot let American press to suppress the history and the reality and the real truth of what happened in our history. I say this to everyone here, that it is our responsibility to find out what really happened. Because if you do find out what really going to happen, you'll be just as angry as I am right now, knowing that we should organize among the people to fight against this kind of misleading leadership that we are having here in the Hawaii.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
So it's really, really important to understand clearly that these folks up here are just part of the military. They don't care about the real existence of the Hawaiian people and their culture.
Thank you, sir.
Look at Bukai Big and what has happened in Waianae there. They destroyed the Big because the Army Corps of Engineers went there to build that seawall. Like they think you want to listen to us today? No. We need to understand clearly, and don't give up the fight that we have in recognizing how important the Hawaiian culture and its history being so significant for our youngsters and our generations to follow us. If they will carry the fire and the torch to make sure that they themselves will continue to make sure that in many ways that we can get the military out of here. Barbara's Point, the contaminated waters in Barbara's Point, and its existence that's going on right now. You need to understand clearly that that land and that area was so precious of a place that people live in Hawaii. Yet we look at today's times, here even in Kahuku, up on the hillside, we got these military maneuvers going on that is destroying the earth and the botanical enrichment which exists here, right here in our own land. If you think the military cares about it, no way. So we really should think about what's going on. Kahuku was destroyed. Our sisters and brothers today are being sent out to fight the rich man's war. And I say the rich man's war, but that's what we're all there to fight. For the corporations to continue to exploit and oppress the people that they happen to be occupying out these lands. Like they did to the Hawaiians as well. Last but not least, what is going on right now, the Red Hill tanks. Knowing that the Navy continues to lie about what happened in these situations. And yet they're coming up with these so-called studies saying that, oh, don't worry, water's fine. The water supply is coming out with their own survey, their own investigation. And they know clearly what's going on with Ahupua. So we need to understand even more, to go among the people, organize among ourselves, organize those that are out there. Everyone here, power to the people.
Aloha mai kākou, o ka imi pono hano ko uinoa, no maui mai au, a ka no nae no au ma ka a'apa I kia maula. So aloha, my name is ka imi pono hano. I live in Ka'a'awa, but I'm from the island of Maui. My father comes from the island, from this island, from Punalu'u, in an Ahupua called Papa'akoko. I stand here before you representing my ohana who is unable to come here. I have children who attend this high school, and I encourage you to allow them to give testimony, not tonight, but another day, because their voices need to be heard. They will be the ones that will have to deal with your effects as well. So I just want to bring up a few things that has happened on the island of Maui that I've lived through. The building of the Daniel K. Inouye telescope. And then also the leakage of fuel that happened on that mauna, and that my grandmother had to drink the water that was contaminated. My grandmother and my mother had to live through the bombing of Kaho'olawe like many other people's ohana. They have memories of tremendous trauma from that effect. We cannot forget that wasn't long time ago that happened, but
our families are still dealing with that. And then we also need to remember our brothers and sisters in the Marshall Islands. They reminded us at FESPAC of your relationship or your bombing that you did in their islands. And we will not allow that to happen here. In closing, know that I'm here by myself tonight, but I have 5 children that I'm raising to know that you are corruption and they will not be fooled by your tactics. And I just want to close. E iho ana o luna, e pi'i ana o lalo, e hui ana na moku, e ku ana na paia.
Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Kananga Moala and I am 8 years old. I live in Kahuku and I go to Kahuku Elementary and I will be in 3rd grade. I oppose the renewal of the military lease because I love the AINA and we need to take care of that. Hi, my name's Moku.
Hi, Moku.
And I'm 5 and I'll hold it. Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Emily Moala and I go to Kahuku Elementary School. All it's our military leases because we need a mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you very much.
To address a critical issue that strikes at the heart of our communities, identity and future. The renewal of the military leases for the Kahuku training area. This decision isn't just about land use, it's about the restoration of culture, ancestral knowledge, and our sacred connection to the Aina. For generations, our ancestors have stewarded this land, passing down not just physical spaces, but a profound understanding of how to live in harmony with nature. The Kahuku training area, with its rich biodiversity and cultural significance, stands as a testament to our heritage. Activities on this land disrupt not only the natural environment, but also our cultural practices. Our sacred sites, gathering places, and places of ancestral significance are at risk of being desecrated or lost altogether. The noise of artillery shells shatters the tranquility that once defined this place, and the environmental degradation caused by military exercises threatens the very ecosystem that sustains us. But today we stand united in opposition to the continuation. We demand action to restore what has been lost and protect what remains. Our culture is not a relic of the past. It is a living, breathing part of our community today, and it deserves to be honored and preserved. Imagine a future where the Kahuku training area serves as a beacon of cultural restoration. Knowledge is shared and celebrated, where the Aina flourishes under our care, and where future generations can learn from the wisdom of our ancestors. Let us not forget that our responsibility extends beyond our own lifetimes. We are custodians of this land for those who will come after us, and it is our duty to leave behind a legacy of respect, harmony, and sustainability. In conclusion, I urge to heed the voices of our community. Let us prioritize the restoration of culture, ancestral knowledge, protects our present, and ensures a vibrant future for our Kiki. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
195.
Eo nai ole.
Not only men's group, focusing on men's health within the Poamoho region. Grateful to stand here tonight among many of my countrymen, Poamoho, Kahuku. I grew up in this hallowed hall of Kahuku cafeteria, sat right here on these tables and played trumps with some of the best of friends that I'm still friends with today. That's it. I support the military. Practicing their war games. You guys can start in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C., 20500. Now to make clear, I'm going to really cool because I don't need to speak to you. I'm going to speak to the left. I'm going to remind you guys a little bit of why we're standing here and taking a part of this piece of crap process. You already know, but some need helpful reminders. And it's all because some Kanaka have taken the cheese. And that's why we call this the Mickey Mouse process. Because somebody played Mickey Mouse games with us. And we could give them Mickey Mouse ears to wear tonight, but we already can identify them. Anyway, that being said, in light of FESPAC just happened. Certain individual from Samoa had reminded us that in Samoa they remind daily their youth that their identity is not negotiable. It's not negotiable for us either. Kyoki Helm had told us and reminded us that no matter how many times you bomb, you desecrate our aina, we're always going to show you the value of aina. Many of us have provided reminders tonight to live with aloha. Sometimes aloha is not friendly, not happy, and not welcoming. So in the words of Uncle Skippy, keep your middle fingers curved. Mahalo.
Aloha mai, ko mera nia ke kaua, tōku ingoa, no Aotearoa, tōku whānau. Ko Moitani, a Dudley ke kaua. My name is Meraria ke kaua. I'm from Aotearoa, but I'm married Hawaiian. And that's my whakapapa to Kahuku. I do not support the continuation of the U.S. military leases on any of the Hawaiian lands, on any of the motu in Te Moananui. Okay. You need to go. You've done nothing but desecrate, causing so much harm to cultures that you could have learned from and how to get closer to Te Ariki Nui. You've destroyed it. And yet, the hand of aloha was extended to you time and time again. But your people, Takahia, stamped on it. on their love. All you could think of was your insatiable greed, as demonstrated throughout Africa, Asia, the Pacific, Te Wana Nui a Kiwa. Gotta go. Because I'm going to tell you something that's very pertinent to this situation. And that is, you did not understand that the aina that you walk upon is sacred. You know why it's sacred? Because it comes from Keakua. It has contaminated the water supply for our tamariki, for our keiki. That's our future. You people do not play around with our future. If there's one thing I know, my iwi, as Te Wana Nui a Kiwa, we will not take, is that you harm our tamariki. Alright? We have bent over backwards because you thought that you don't understand the people of this water, of this aina. They are strong, noble people. And you miscalculated really badly. You know what? They're not going to take any more lying down and letting you people walk over them in the name of saving them from harm. You need to go because you people have tried to, you have not succeeded. You have not. And if anything that's come of these meetings, Pacific West, it's shown a stronger sense of belonging and that we are one. And we're not going to put up with this crap anymore. Thank you very much.
197? 197?
Aloha, HAWAIIAN, kapo. My name is Bob, and I've been going to meetings for over 50 years out here in the North Shore, and some of the best testimony I've ever heard was tonight. There's a lot of thoughtfulness and articulate people in this crowd, and it's really impressive. I'm here to talk about an if this negotiation goes to a negotiating table, and if the $1 a year thing kind of like probably isn't going to be talked about for very long, I'm going to suggest, and in your poster in the back, it says that transportation is one of the issues that you address. I live in Pupukea and have for over 50 years, and if there's an incident or an accident or a rock slide, there's thousands of people up there now, and they want to know how they're going to get out of there. And the only answer is Drum Road. In the 30s, the military got a perpetual easement for the use of Drum Road to come from Helimanu to the Kahuku training area. It crosses several private properties, and in the 30s they did an improvement. And every 10 or 15 years or so, they would go in and they would improve that road again to keep it safe. There are a lot of roads back there that were made during World War II that are like, 8-foot deep gullies now. Anyway, there's a need to get into the back acreage drum General Drum put that in for a good reason. If the coast highway goes out, you're not going to have any access laterally around the island. There's accesses up Kahuku, Ashley, Upukea, and Waimea, and of course down here at Kahuku. Logistically, it would be good. It was good then, and it would be good to have that now. I hope you can put this on the table. If you decide that that's one of the things that the Army needs to do to renew your lease, there would be a lot of community benefit involved, including not just the community, but the Army also. And you know, when the Striker Brigade was in there, they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars putting that in. And then strikers went away, and then the contractor went away, and the road fell apart. Anyway, it's an ongoing process, and right now it's not safe. If somebody's up there on a rainy day, the chances of them going over the edge of a cliff and ending up dead at the bottom of one of the gullies of the valleys is very high. And you guys get your finger in the pie up there. You folks have maintained it for a really long time. I hope you can continue to do so if you get the lease renewed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. 198.
My name is Chevea Marciana Kauhane Maina Apo Espinosa Ramos. My ohana has been nourished for generations from the Ahupua of Kahuku in the Moku of Ko'olaua in the Mokupuni of Oahu. I come before you today to share mana'o on the proposed renewal of the Army's lease of state lands, which are all actually crown lands. I am 5th generational iwi of this wahi of Kahuku, and my kuleana is to ensure the next 5 generations of my ohana can know all of these wahi kana and have even more access than I and the generations before me had. The military has demonstrated that they do not have the capacity to care for these lands appropriately, and therefore they should not be in charge of them. The lands have been mismanaged by the military for the sake of national security. They have been bombed, poisoned, and led astray from what these lands are supposed to be used for. This aina is at the top of our watershed, the top of our Ahupua. We should be doing conservation efforts in these lands, doing reforestry, looking at agricultural opportunities. We as Iwi should be hunting these lands as part of our gathering rights. We should be gathering mail from these areas for our cultural practices, caring for the streams and springs. And most of all, Kanaka should have access to these lands to practice our traditional and customary rights, because there is no one better to take care of these lands than us. Traditional and customary rights of Native tenants have been protected by law since Kingdom days, and is still protected in our state constitution, Article 12, Section 7. Military use of this aina infringes upon our rights as Native tenants to access these lands mauka tumakai. My great-grandfather has been kept from accessing what should be our gathering lands. My grandmother has been kept from what should be our gathering lands. My father and my uncles were harassed when trying to access these gathering lands, even when they were caking on bikes. My eyes have never seen the top of our Ahupua. I hope one day my keiki will get to experience my wahipana, for them to know the makani and the ua of Kahuku, to hear the stories of the Maina Aupo Upena makers who nets fall in the kai like silk, and for them to experience them. I hope for them to run in the upper fields of Kahuku till the sun goes down. I hope they get to know the aina the way I know it, to live in the same place for generations to come. Noho papa. Mahalo.
Aloha. Aloha. My name is VCE Piao Germando, and tomorrow night, and I was like, yeah, because we used to do we did the turbines, yeah? We stood up against the turbines, went down the rabbit hole, attended legislative meeting. It was a joke, because nobody listened, even though it's good and right. You guys don't listen. So to me, I'm here
Not to sway you guys, because you guys already know what you guys gonna do or did. I'm here as a witness to the Almighty to and honor. You guys don't have no power over anything. Not you guys, but the military and the spirit that it comes behind. Because it is a spiritual battle. You know, it's good against evil. So it's like, whose side you gonna be on? That's the question we're gonna ask ourselves tonight. Whose side you're on? So it's not against you guys as a military. It's the spirit behind what you guys representing, and especially. But I had when they were doing the Mauna Kea, I am not a traditional Hawaiian. I'm Hawaiian, Tongan, Portuguese, and mind you, Black Portuguese. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Black Portuguese, the Negroes, Israelites. Yeah, God dropped that on me. Unbelievable, but He's so good. He cares for the little. He cares for me. So He showed me truth. Nobody threw that in my. God, He take care of me. So anyway, I asked him, like, because they were doing. I was happy for the Mauna Kea and the Hawaiians. I was like, yeah, go get them. And I was like, but if I joined that fight, because I wasn't a part of it, I said, what would I be fighting for? Because He knows my heart. I love Him so much. I said, what would I be fighting for? You know what he said? The land. In his still small voice, he told me, the land is what you're going to be fighting for. Guess what the motto of Hawaii is? The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. Not what the military say righteousness, what His word say righteousness. Because that's the only true word that can give us life in this land is His true word. Other than that, all corrupt. Let me tell you that right now. And I stand on the word of God. I've been true since 2020. My husband, he got sick. He got kidney failure. He had liver problems. I lost my 15-year job. My son passed away in 2021. I have 6 grandchildren that I take care of. But you know what? Still not going to leave Him. Because you know why? He don't want to take care of me no matter what it looks like. And even if you guys still occupy, no matter what it looks like, He's still in control. And He don't want to take care. Amen. I'll let you guys know that right now. Yeah. Let me see. So I'll read you guys the scripture. And you know what? The scriptures is beautiful. Because He's so gracious and loving. Oh my God, He's so gracious and loving. Because I ain't perfect. I'm part of the scum of the earth. But He look at me because I reach out to Him. He loves me so much. And I love Him so much in return. For these are rebellious people, deceitful children. Whoever is speaking to me. Children unwilling to listen to the Lord's instruction. They say to the seers, see no more visions. And to the prophets, give us no more visions of what is right. Tell us pleasant things, prophesy illusions. With the Holy One of Israel. Therefore, this is what the Holy One of Israel says. Because you have rejected this message, relied on oppression, and depended on deceit, this sin will become to you like a high wall, cracked and bulging, that collapses suddenly in an instant. It will break in pieces like pottery, shattered so mercilessly that among the piece, not a fragment will be found. For taking coals from a hearth or scooping water out of a cistern. How beautiful He is. In repentance and rest is your salvation. Repent. Stop doing evil. In quietness and trust is your strength. And trust in what? Military? No. Most High.
He's wrapping it up.
Huh?
He's wrapping it up.
I am wrapping it up, sis. What, you want to get a word of God?
I love you.
What's that?
We have a lot of people.
Oh my God. How many more people get after me?
About 30.
30. Because you know what? Not depending on many people I heard talking about God. Okay? So let me finish. Okay? In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. But you would not have none of it. You said,
No, we will flee on horses, therefore you will flee, you said. We will ride on swift horses, therefore your pursuers will be swift. 1,000 will flee at the threat of one. At the threat of 5, and you'll all flee away. Till you are left like a flag staff on a mountaintop, like a banner on a hill. That's what you guys do in military. When you guys go take over the land, you guys pop you guys flags over there, claiming them, yeah? But look, that doesn't matter. Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. He's so beautiful, I'm telling you. I don't know why we're not all rise up to show you compassion, for the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all who wait for him.
The first alarm is 1:30, the second is the 2 minutes, and like we just said, there's 30 more people, so if you could please. Number 200.
My name is Eric Paulo, and I've been living in this community for 40 years. And I want you here to renew your lease. I'm for it. I have a reason why. But first, I want to talk about, there's so many people in the back here says about unsafe and all that. A prize fighter, okay? I used to run up there. The soldier saw me, you know. Hello, Shaka. You know, I run back down. I do these most of the time when I was, you know, training. I have no problem with, you know, with the soldier, but I have a reason why. This is my reason. Reason why I support them. Because I feel like we need space for young men, young ladies to train, you know, to continue to, you know, to guard the country, you know. I love the United States of America, okay? I'm pushing more, but I you know, I'm American. The past is the past, whatever, you know, our feeling is. But also, you know, I'm also a union member for 40 years. And, you know, military do a lot of, you know, programs that support the community. Like I said, you know, I hear somebody talking about Palestine and all that, you know. Yeah, those people are terrorists, just straight up, okay? They invaded and they're still holding hostages, you know, some of our citizens. That's all I say. I support the military.
Wow, thank you very much. Number 201.
Aloha. I am my father's daughter. His name is Kanaka O Ni Ahupua. My dad was born at his address is 1845 Maunawili Road. He also passed away at this property. One of the things that my dad experienced was martial law. Military, he came home one day and the military was on the property, and he stood there. He was, of course, angry. Why was he angry? He was angry because the military had parked their trucks on top of his parents' grave. So that what made him mad. The military was trying to get my father off the property, and he was trying to get the trucks off his parents' graves. So what the military did was hold a gun to his head and said, if you don't leave, we will shoot you. My dad also passed away in 1845 on Willie Road. And towards the end of his life, he kind of like joked around about it. So, but tonight, the reason why I'm here tonight is because not only do I want to acknowledge certain areas, which is Kahana, Punalu'u, and of course Kahuku. It's loaded with depleted uranium. It is written, I have attended Army meetings on this issue. Depleted uranium is really important to understand what is it and how it does harm, an adverse effect on our people. But the reason why I came here tonight, people, I met a beautiful, beautiful woman last night, and she talked about how her husband was in the military. So the reason why I came here tonight, so was my husband. He was the Midnight Massacre was in March, and May 13, 1968 was a call-up. I myself gave birth at Tripler Army Hospital on May 26 of 1968.
Please.
So, I just want to say that I'm here tonight because this is Kahuku. And the reason why I'm here, I wanted to acknowledge, like I did last night, a beautiful queen from Kahuku. Her name is Irene Primasha. This woman here, right across the street there, her husband went to Vietnam, and so did Pakoa. Her husband came home, but Pakoa did not come home alive. I just want to say, I was here when Irene lost her baby, her 10th baby, at her house. And I just want to say to all of you, Irene was such a strong, wonderful woman. She was a queen back then, and she kept all of us alive. All of us. I was just 19 years old on May 26th. What I want to say tonight is Irene Primasha was so angry at all of this Vietnam War. Remember, 2 million people passed away in Vietnam. Irene, the Army called us wives over to Schofield. So we went to the gym on Schofield. And Irene stood up and screamed and yelled at Inouye. Yes, Inouye was there. He was there because our husbands were full 42nd. And we were not getting any, well, I wasn't getting any checks, although our husbands was employed and being trained to go to Vietnam. Because of Irene, I was able to find the strength to bring my husband then home. He was in Vietnam, and Congress had passed this rule that if you were in college, you could come home on an early out. Well, thank God my husband was in college here at Church College. So I was able to get him home 3 months after he left for Vietnam. My husband did come home then with shrapnel all alongside here. Thanks to Irene Primasha, many of us are doing well. Many of us, our children, are okay. We are hurting But thanks to Irene Primascio and her strength here, right across the street here, she was able to hold all of us together. And there was a lot of wives out here whose husbands were in Vietnam. So that is why I'm here tonight. I wanted to acknowledge Irene Primascio. She was the queen, and she still is a queen today. There's a lot that I want to say. One of the things I really want to say here, sir, is not only do I love Hugh Thompson Jr., but John Kerry too. I forgot his last name last night. John Kerry was the one that flew over, he made it to Solomon Islands to stop Linda Lingle from selling Hawaii to Indonesia. But he didn't make it in time. So I believe this is what's going to happen tonight. Those 3 places are going to be landed into the hands of the Indonesians.
Wow.
And I also want to say, well, there's a lot that I want to say here. And I think I'm going to, I think, so the adverse here is a lot. It's huge. The adverse here is a lot. These 3 properties needs to go back to the inventory. If not, to the public trust inventory. If not, the state will be in breach of trust. Then it can decide. The state has to decide what they're going to do. So when your lease is over 2029, that 3 properties needs to go back into public trust inventory. And I'm thinking not that this is what's going to happen. What I'm thinking is going to belong to Indonesia. It's called Indo-Pacific. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming here tonight. And this is really rough, I know. And a lot of us do have a lot of past relationships with the military that completely hurt us forever and ever and ever. So just coming here is a healing process. And again, I just want to acknowledge Irene Primascio. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you all to please, especially those who spoke last night as well, we just want to make sure everybody has a chance to speak. Okay, 202. Hi, Uncle Tito. Hi, how are you, Aloha?
Okay, I was observing everything last night. This is relating specifically to the Crown lands. The Crown land title carried certain specific terms and conditions, including the fact that the fee simple interest is inalienable and private, property of the royal domain of the Hawaiian Kingdom monarchy. The specific intent of the sovereign of the Hawaiian Islands was to protect those lands from being considered public domain. And, quote, the danger of confiscation in the event of his lands being seized by any foreign power, such as the Republic of Hawaii or the United States of America. Legal expert for the United Nations, Professor Desaias, in 2018, issued an unclassified memorandum to the United Nations, to Secretary Guterres and all of the member states, describing the situation in Hawaii as a nation state that is under a strange form of occupation by the United States, resulting from an illegal military occupation and a fraudulent annexation. As such, requires that governance and legal matters must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. Stating further that the ongoing plundering of Hawaiian Kingdom private lands by the legal systems of the United States and the state of Hawaii calls for an immediate investigation and intervention, holding willful participants to be held accountable to U.S. federal and international law. Professor Delias actually assisted in a call for a review of historical facts surrounding the United General Resolution 1469, which recognized the attainment of self-government for Hawaii, big question mark, revealing the deception that took place on the part of the United States in 1959 by intervention in the political affairs of the islands, by the imposition of an uncalled for and inexpedient assumption of a protectorate over the Hawaiian people by way of a provisional government instituted by the U.S. Congress by an act to provide for the admission of the state of Hawaii, placing the people of the Hawaiian Islands under a provisional government, aka state of Hawaii, not of their own choosing, being a military power against which they are powerless to protect themselves. And that while under this power, the Hawaiian people, despite the apology resolution, have not yet been afforded the opportunity to institute their own form of government. And these circumstances should not be regarded with indifference by the government of the United States or the United Nations. In closing, I wish that gentleman who spoke of Nazi Germany was here, but I'd like to read to you a situation I used to describe the underlying problem and situation in the Hawaiian Islands. There is no exaggeration made when recalling excerpts from the statements of Justice Robert Jackson before the international military trials at Nuremberg. One of the sinister peculiarities of society was that the state itself played only a subordinate role in the exercise of political power, while the really drastic controls over society were organized outside its nominal government. This was accomplished through an elaborate network of closely knit and exclusive organizations of selected volunteers, oath bound to execute without delay and without question the commands of the leaders. The country was subdivided into little principalities, and every such community had its recognized party leaders, party police, and its undercover party spies. The whole formed a pyramid of power outside the law. The primary vice of this web of organizations was that they were used to transfer the power of coercing men from the government and the law. Liberty, self-government, and security of persons and property do not exist except where the power of coercion is possessed only in the state and is exercised only in obedience to the law. Realistically, the apology resolution has not appeased the Hawaiian people, nor has it resolved the land issue or ended the cause for restoration of independence. Yet it is remarkable that the native and part native inhabitants of the Hawaiian Islands, despite the opposition, interference, and seemingly insurmountable odds, have through the last 5 decades arduously experienced a profound renaissance of culture, language, and political organizing, and are deserving of reward. In recognition of the historic role of the United States to carry forth the mandate of the Treaty of Versailles by underwriting the formation of the operations of the United Nations at the end of World War I, it is recalled that on 9 December, the United Nations adopted the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, being the first human rights treaty unanimously adopted by the General Assembly entering into force on 12 January 1951.
Uncle, please wrap it up.
Yes, I am closing.
Thank you.
The Genocide Convention authorizes the mandatory jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice to adjudicate disputes, recalling that in 1960, the South African government was expelled from Namibia because it did not have a treaty of annexation and was found to be enforcing policies of apartheid. By distinction, exclusion, restriction, and limitation based on national origin, race, color, ethnicity, and religion, which parallels the current situation in the Hawaiian Islands. The United States became a signatory in 1986, codified the convention, and is known as the Proxmire Act. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can I make a quick programming recommendation?
Sure.
Instead of making 2 timers, could you just like raise your hand at 1:30?
I can absolutely do that.
Throws people off and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Kale.
I can flail. Okay. I could use the stretching. Okay. I will flail at 1:30, and then you will have to stop at 2. Thank you. 203.
I think it's the perfect time now to let everyone just stretch so they can wake up, including you folks, so you guys can pay attention as we try to wrap it up. And everyone pick up on the points. It's okay, you have permission.
Come on, Steve.
And
Steve. Get up, Colonel Steve.
And I'm really curious, are you really writing notes or is that like doodling? Notes? Okay, good then. Okay, wake up everybody.
Yeah, come on, There you go. There you go, Colonel Steve. Right on, Colonel Steve.
Feel good, huh? Feel good. Wake up that brain. Okay, guys. That doesn't count my time, right? Okay, guys. Now. My name is Linnell Damati. Everyone calls me Auntie Linnell. I was born and raised in Kahuku. I'm the youngest of 11 siblings. I graduated back in 1974. I know everyone's trying to do the math. I thought it was 68. So, anyway, a lot of the comments that were made by people that's lived here a long time, I should have spoken up at that time when she asked when a beautiful young woman asked about if anyone knew anything that was going on at the time. Back in the 60s, ordinances back here in the Kahuku area, at that time, you guys were already leaving your Opala. You know how I know? Because my oldest brother, being a boy, being curious, checked out that pile of Opala, and he ended up getting burned. He burned, his whole half of his body caught on fire from all that gunpowder, and he ran from what we used to call Red Hill, if anyone's familiar with the tracks back here. He ran from Red Hill and Tent City, because that's what the soldiers would live in, right, when you were training. So he ran from there all the way to Kahuku Hospital with his skin just sloughing off. So, that, leaving you guys junk, it's a long time ago. It started a long time ago. Allah. Anyway, I do agree with a lot that people said tonight. And you know what? I really practiced for tonight, wrote things down, what I wanted to say. But in order to avoid being really redundant, what I did want to point out is that I recommend to you, sir, that when you do your introduction in the beginning of the meeting, I'm going to ignore that one, the introduction, you need to leave out that part that you say you guys clean up. You guys never clean up. So you need to take that out of the introduction. And you need to also advise that commander of the whole Pacific Fleet, in Sunday's paper, he mentioned about how they clean up. You guys never clean up. So the footprint that you guys leave All the military branches starts with colonization, forced assimilation, desecration, and destruction. That is the footprint of the military. And no matter the continued lies, the continued deception will not wash away. Because you know why? We all see you. Thank you.
204. Just a reminder, I will flail at 1:30 and then the alarm goes off in 2.
Aloha. Aloha. My name is Mākua, and I am a proud descendant of the native people of these islands. Today I am here because my journey really started. My kumu is sitting in the back over there. Kaleolani Hano Hano, she is the reason why I stand here before you. She was the person who woke me. And I would like to say, I reiterate everything I said last night. You have my paper. I would like to say though, November 1888, King David Kalakaua said his final words to Honolulu magazine, and he said, "Tell my people, I tried." These were his last words to us, and these are my last words tonight. As the kupuna to the next generation that's sitting over there behind me. Oh wait, they went to leave. Anyways, to the next generation, this is us fighting for you. This is our try to give you a future. When they say history is about the past, it's about ancient degree, it's about dates, it's about times. It's not about the dates and the times and all of that. History is a dialogue between the future and the past. So when we stand here and we tell you these events that happen within our past, we have a way of looking at time as we look to our past to know how to move forward. So when you look to your past and you see what's happened, what would your forefathers do if they were in this situation? Would they leave? Would they tell their people, hey, this isn't cool? If the British were to say, I'm gonna bomb this place, I'm gonna use this place to train, I highly doubt that America would take that, right? So why would we? Mahalo.
Aloha. Aloha. My name is Rachel from the Kona and Denshio Ohana. I come here today and I hold space for those who come before me, those who come after me, and those Hawaiians who wish to be here but had to leave due to cost of living while you access land for $1. A 65-year lease will be coming up, and when I think of that, I see my great-grandfather, Pilikona. My great-grandfather who made his signature of mark on Kauai's own Ku'e petition. What is that, you ask? A list of Hawaiians who opposed annexation in 1897. When I see 65 years to the future, I can only see and wish for these lands to be filled with Hawaiians. This is our homelands. And these lands need to be given back to the rightful dwellers. So 65 years is what you ask of again. This lease should never have been given to the U.S. forces in the first place. These are crown lands, which were to be set aside for Hawaiians, koko. 2024, I stand here and verbally oppose your annexation in this day and age. We are not, you are not tenants of the land.
but rather destroyers of all that you see, touch, and walk on. So please, leave and take your Apollo. We have been showing you aloha, but this reign is over. The next generation and generations to come after is a keiki of immersion, charter schools, may they raise up to be warriors. And one more thing for side note, you people behind their selective services, I am a mother of 3 children, 3 boys to be exact. My son just turned 18 years old, and your letter came to my door. That is a threat. No children of mine with Hawaiian blood will ever serve your white man forces.
My mother is my Lewis, my father is King Watson. I come from Puyo. I am against any extension of any military lease on Oahu or in Hawaii. And these are some of the reasons why I say that. When I went to Ko'olawe in 2022, I saw that aina. It was ripped apart, gutted. When I saw that land, all I knew inside of my na'au was pain. I knew deep in my na'au that it was wrong. And when I hear the lies, blatant lies, and disregard for our land, it makes me sick. I laugh at you when I hear you speak about wanting to take care of this land and conservation and otherwise. When you yourselves admit that your presence here will have significant adverse impact. Hell, I don't even have to listen to you. I can just turn my ear to the people of Kahuku when they tell you the same thing. When I hear the report from the Committee of Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women that showed me that the average person to be a victim of sex trafficking and assault was a 15-year-old Hawaiian girl that lives near a military base, I felt sick. I have a Kanaka mother. I have a Kanaka sister. I have a Kanaka lover. And I know every day that the reality of that report does not stop just because those people are close to me. They are in danger because of you. And that's why I say no more leases, no more backhanded deals, no more occupation.
207, 208. Hello again, Senator.
Tonight, different place, different time. You guys not listening. Nobody there, nobody here. So turn around, and a lot of brothers and our family, the people actually listening. Dawn Chang is our sellout. She had a chance to kill this in a bar meeting. I couldn't attend that meeting. But it was all trickery. She never tell you guys and our neighbor island guys that she had an appointment with them at that meeting at 2 o'clock. And everybody came from the neighbor island of Crackadon. I couldn't because I was in committee hearings to be there. I wanted to be there. But then I was getting texts from her own board members on the tragedy that she was trying to underhand do in front of their members. Because all of you left, because you guys all get lives. You have to go back to neighbor islands, because they get lives. She was trying to do leasehold land, trying to force them to give her the executive permission to go ahead and do this deal without us. That's the wrote a letter to the governor, and I asked the governor to kick her out, to have her resign, because she does not represent the people that she said she is. That's because she get the blood cocoa. Doesn't mean she representing us, because she not. So we went into the streets and said, down with Dawn Chang, because she could have stopped all of this. You guys don't have to have been here. Keep to the promise of 2029 and be gone. There's nothing that they do in our lands that was great. Nothing. You guys suffering from the devil weed. Who brought that? Hawaiians? No. They're machines, they're helicopters, they're soldiers in their shoes. How I know this? Because when I first got there, that was Senator Kaikaiari, Water and Land, trying to figure out how we would help them get rid of this, because we couldn't figure it out. It was not going to take care of that. If anybody noticed, this is the most flammable weed out there. And guess where it goes? On areas that we cannot reach, because we don't have helicopters. So how are we going to take those invasive species out? Get rid of them. The guy came over here talking about Russia and I was going to read that, but forget it already. And Russia and Germany. None of them come over here, because they still, to this day, each country still recognize Hawaii as a nation. The only one that don't recognize us is the United States. This is not the United States. This is the Hawaii nation. It's our place. They're visitors. And the visitor pass has ended. They need to leave. Okay? Then you guys like say, oh no, right? Military like say, no. These guys will come. Saddam Hussein, forget about the president already. He said, Saddam Hussein told the president, when you unoccupy Hawaii, I will unoccupy Kuwait. This is from a former dictator that died by their hands, that respected Hawaii that much. Every single country, Japan, we was not at war with Japan. The United States was at war with Japan. When Japan came here, they never took any Hawaiian lives. I said like that last night at the Waianae meeting. 3 tragedies from my community. Eva Camp accidentally got and passed away. 3 of them. It wasn't deliberate. When we bombed Japan, we was deliberate in putting them to their knees by killing private citizens. That's why they went surrender. Because we was murdering them. Time after time, bullies, United States. Every country, every place they went, they bully. Last night I learned something so much that I could not sleep last night. That those Mākua families were strengthened by military to move within hours. Who does that? What country does that? America. But we need to educate ourselves. We all need to tell the governor to fire Dawn Chang, put our people in, make sure they protect the island like they said, DNR. Yeah, said they're going to take care of this. They're not. They're lying. Like how another uncle came up and said, pretty much a done deal. Yeah? Only way going to be a done deal if we lay down. But we need to take to the streets. I go to them. I just was talking to, oh, she got you now. I was just talking to Melissa. I live and breathe for that in front of the Capitol. Whether it's getting run on me or telling me, it doesn't matter. Dawn has to go. This lease, the trickery, it said leases, right? No. That's not what they're calling. They're calling something else, right? Retention. So when I told Melissa, and I told my family in Waianae, I never know about the meeting. I wrote an opposition letter. I never didn't know. Alert? You know why? You're going to put them under retention and not leases. So my staff didn't pull it for the leases, because I told them, watch when these meetings come up for lease extensions, because we're going to stop them. We don't want it. Dawn could have done her job and said, you know what? We're going to hold you guys to your promise. We're not going to have these lease extensions or land, whatever they call them, and done. But because somebody, you got to understand, Dawn is a puppet. She's a puppet. Some people are not going to believe that. I know she's from the community around here, but she's a puppet to the governor. That's the reason why she's doing this. The governor already, like they said, is already toasting champagne and caviar. We need to make sure the governor hears us, Dawn lose money chain, and down with her. Because you guys are important. When I was driving into Kahuku from Pebble Beach, I went this way. I see the desecration of these ugly windmills. But we gotta slow down. That's the governor calling me. I guess you heard a complaining about it. But the bottom line is, look what's happening to this community. When is it enough? You guys need to heal. And it's time to heal. We still never heal from the windmills. And then now you're going to desecrate more? Negative. So I ask you guys, whenever it's time, let's take to the streets. Down with Dawn check. If we got to go watch her house, I don't know her address, but we can find out. We walk there and down with Dawn check. Thank you guys.
Are you next?
Aloha Kahuku. From Iulai. Just want to underscore a point that these leases are non-renewable. And it's not even state property. They're the trustee for these lands, which is the highest level of care that is required. As I was driving out here, I saw the silhouettes of the giant windmills, like alien spiders. I'm reminded of the flicker and the sound that's affecting this community here. Last night when I drove out to Waianae, miles and miles of houseless, in Kanaka in their own homeland, houseless. So the EIS is deficient in its environmental justice analysis. You have to consider all of these effects on various communities that are unjust, including race, ethnicity, gender, and colonial status. The DEIS is also deficient in the cumulative impacts analysis. This has to look at effects not only in the future, but also the present and the past. It has to look at the effects, it's not just the yellow spots on the map, it's the effects of the activities and how they relate to other spaces. You've heard tonight about how people are talking about how the methods of killing that are perfected in Hawaii get deployed against other peoples around the world. That has to be incorporated into your analysis. And you have to consider the synergistic effects of all of these things combined. So what I think you're hearing tonight, in the EHA that's being expressed, in the rage that's being expressed, these are expressions, these are evidence of the cumulative impacts. The UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples has the standard of free, prior, and informed consent. Your EIS must include that analysis. Probably the most definitive expression of a refusal of free, prior, and informed consent is the 1897 Ku'e petitions. And finally, in light of all of this, the missing alternative that needs to be included is that you clean up and restore these lands and pay reparations for the harm that's been done for over 100 years.
Aloha kako. My name is Ruth Bolone, and I began to learn about the Crown Lands in 2010 when I applied to OHA for the Kuleana land tax. They denied me. Why did they deny me? They said because the land that we purchased in cash in Pupukea, Ahupua, Ko'olauloa, on the island of Oahu, were private lands of King Kamehameha III that was made inalienable on 3 January 1865, and according to the State of Hawaii Constitution, Article 18, Section 9, the laws are confirmed. Now, if it's confirmed enough to keep me from getting a kuleana land tax, reducing my land tax to $300 a year, why is it that you are saying that this belongs to the state of Hawaii? They confirmed that on June 7th, 1848, the Hawaiian Kingdom confirmed the inventory of Kamehameha III that was guaranteed to himself and to his heirs and successors forever. In Articles 16 and 17 of the 1852 and the 1864 Hawaiian Kingdom Constitution, it says there shall be no laws that are retroactive. So if there's no laws that are retroactive, if the state of Hawaii's own constitution says that we do not, or they do not, or they do uphold the laws that came before, how is it that these private lands went into a private trust that belongs to the public? Public lands are not private lands. Now, the Geneva IV Convention said that private lands are confirmed to the people. Article 8 of the Geneva Convention says that nobody that's qualified as international protected persons may be coerced or volunteer away any of their protections or their rights, which includes private lands. So I am here as a direct heir of Kamehameha III. Now I know a lot of people are saying they're heirs, but what determines the direct heir? Well, that's in the 1840 Hawaiian Kingdom Constitution, under the exposition of principles of what created the executive dynasty. In paragraph 3, it says that Kamehameha III will choose his heirs in his lifetime. He did that in his probate. That probate had 4 people. Only 2 of the people have direct living descendants. And my family comes from one of those descendants. That's Queen Kalama. The other one is Crown Princess Kamamalu. Now, if you're negotiating for lands or leases, you're going to be doing that with the actual owners, not with the state of Hawaii, not with the United States. The United States had no authority. Now, this is important because you guys are making contracts with the wrong people, and you're upholding and you hold all the laws against us that you want to use against us. But you're not upholding your own laws. In Army Field Manual 2710, it is the codification of the Geneva IV Convention that gives all of us that are qualified international protected persons, Hawaiian nationals. That doesn't mean just Kanaka. It was who were Hawaiian nationals at the time, before January 17, 1863. Now, all of the people that were Hawaiian nationals, we have international protected person status that you are refusing to uphold. Uncle Liko told you what Dr. Alfred Desaias wrote. He wrote that for my case. For my case. I went all the way to Geneva, to the UN, to speak to the United Nations. And I said, why are they allowed, the United States allowed to do this? Well, they're allowed to do it because they pay the bills for the UN. Boris Johnson, just last month, went on YouTube, and all of you should look this up, and he was telling everybody, you gotta have the United States keep paying for the bombs and all the equipment going to Ukraine, because we must uphold the hegemony. That is white power over the rest of the world. It's shrinking. It is shrinking. You are the minorities. We are the voices of the people, and you're harming us. Each one of you took an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution. In Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, that is the contract clause. That contract clause upholds all of our allodial titles, all of our private lands. That you also took an oath to uphold. Article 6, that treaties are the supreme law of the land. 1849 treaty still is in force. And that treaty, Article 1, says that it was made between His Majesty, the King of the Hawaiian Islands, his heirs, and his successors. I am an heir. You want to negotiate with me? We can start talking, but it's not going to show up the way you think it's showing up. Because we, as the heirs, those are our private lands. And in 1865, on 3 January, there was a law that was passed that made all of Kamehameha III's private lands inalienable with only a maximum 30-year lease. And it wasn't for $1 a year, or for any time. So, you ask us to follow your laws within the Dr. Josias's memorandums, both to the UN members. They're all saying that we are entitled to protections. Our lands are protected. You are supposed to be upholding your treaties. The United States in 1950 signed the Geneva IV Convention that protects all of our private allodial title lands. So, I'm asking you to follow the law, and I am personally, and everybody here, as we're accepting your oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution. That is now a contract. And if you fail to do that, you are doing it in your personal capacity, and you can be held liable for breaking your own constitutional laws. Thank you.
Sorry, was that 211?
211? Is that you, Mickey?
Mikey.
Mikey, I'm sorry. And
Go, Mikey, go, Mikey. Well, I saw that there were like 3 folks behind me, so I was wondering if anyone
yeah, are there people who haven't spoken? Mikey, just go. Are you 211? It's okay.
212.
Is there, okay, I don't think 211 is here, so 212.
Aloha, nice to see you again.
Aloha, nice to see you
on box check night number 2. Quick question, where the food at? All 3 of these are starting at 6 o'clock. You know it's gonna go late. Like the basic, most common courtesies I hope can fit within the vast U.S. military budget is to provide mea for the people who are coming here, right? Especially if we're gonna be here till like 10 o'clock. So Colonel McGonagall, how's your note taking going? Can you add something for me? You got one Costco card? Like on the way to Lelehua tomorrow, if you can stop by Pio Costco, a couple blocks away from where my grandma lives. Pick up some chicken. It's like $5 still, right? And some pizza, super cheap, basic stuff, yeah. Because if you're gonna try to manufacture consent, the least you can do is try to bribe us with treats. Okay, so. Like I said last night, we all know this whole environmental impact statement process is total and utter bullshit. But for us, it's a chance to learn from each other, to see each other, and get our voices into the historical record. For you, it's a show you gotta put on before you do whatever the genocidal U.S. colonial project requires. The huge military installation in Kahuku, whatever it is y'all do there, serves a similar colonial greenwashing function to the dangerously close windmills sitting right next to this elementary school and across the street from an indigenous bird sanctuary that this community of Kahuku fought to protect just a few years ago. They're both one of the many tentacles of the same capitalist He'e that serves and protects your genocidal U.S. empire, but that empire is falling and its grip on all its colonial holdings is slipping. You see it everywhere, especially in Hawaii. We saw it in your decision to shut down Red Hill, because we all know the real reason why you chose to shut it down, and it wasn't to keep us or your service members safe. It's because community organized and built enough power to scare the shit out of you. We made you fear for these precious military leases, and you hoped you could put us back to sleep by conceding Red Hill. But tell me, does it look like we're sleeping? No. So good night, we'll see you on the other side of Empire, but until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Kukia i Kahuku, Ohio.
Uncle Ben.
Session, you're 213 or 212? Okay.
My name is Ben Schaefer from Kahana. Even though everything is pointed in your direction, just know that it's not you personally, but that long history that has been going on for the last 150 years. I am a U.S. Air Force veteran. My dad, stepdad, Air Force veterans of the Army, and my grandfathers are both Navy veterans. So we come from a long line of veterans. Even before that, we were veterans of different, in our own stuffs. But anyway, we love the military. What we do not like is when they go to places and they end up destroying everything. They went to Vietnam, they went all, every place they went to, they destroyed. There is no place that they built up, right? They did not do, so if you look back at our record over here in Hawaii, Kaho'olawe, what happened to Kaho'olawe? Did they clean it? No. Still all that opala is still on there. When are they going to clean it? They're not going to clean it. Kamaka family in Waihole, they borrowed the land, they said they were going to promise they were going to clean it before they left. Did they clean it? No. Still polluted. They have a history, radio. That's going to be a long time before that gets cleaned out. A long history of polluting things and do not clean it up. Now, what do you think is going to happen with these three places here? Are they going to clean it up when they're done? I don't think so. Yeah, the record is already there. You already set the record already. So may I propose instead, well, besides being the largest polluter, besides being the largest destroyer of world peace throughout the world for the military-industrial complex, may I propose instead that the Department of Defense should be banned, and instead the Department of Peace should come forward. The DOD has a terrible record of killing, destroying, and even our military men and women know that. Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up to you folks. The people that have spoken tonight, you could write doctorate degree out of that. They were so intelligent. There is every which way you look, they got you beat. Every single way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 213, 213, 214, 215.
Here you go, Candace.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Candace Fujikane. I'm an English professor at the University of Hawaii. And I'm here to call for no extension of military leases on Oahu or anywhere in Hawaii. During the scoping period for this EIS, members of the public identified Alternative 9, no retention, and move all Mākua military reserve training elsewhere. What happened? The military decided that it didn't serve its purposes, and so that public input was dismissed, erased. Yeah? So if that happens there, I wonder what happens to all this powerful testimony. We know that these scoping sessions are part of your fulfillment of the National Environmental Policy Act and the Hawaii Environmental Policy Act, that you have to do these scoping meetings. But it's all a farce, as someone has said earlier, it's all a farce. Now, when you actually read the 2,000 pages of the environmental impact statement, it sounds very much like the EIS for the 30-meter telescope. And so many of us stood against that. Yeah? And why is that? It's because it's become an industry to produce these mass environmental impact statements. Basically what they say is, hazardous waste materials. We won't have a problem with that because we will follow federal regulations. That has nothing to do. The federal regulations have nothing to do with preventing the actual hazardous materials being dispersed, the pollution of the water. Just because you follow the regulations for the Clean Water Act doesn't mean that you keep the water clean. And so what it is that if I, as an English professor, I have read the environmental impact statement, 2,000 pages, I would give it an F. Because there is no evidence in there. There is no evidence in there. There's no substantive information about what you're actually going to do to prevent the harms that we know are going to happen. The environmental impact statement actually says that new long-term significant adverse impacts will occur. The only alternative that won't have such impacts is an alternative 9, which would have beneficial impacts for the land and the environment. So we know it's a farce. Yeah, and it's just amazing how you can fill 2,000 pages with nothing. It's basically just listing what are the endangered species, what are the risks, but there is no concrete plan on how to address them because you have no plan for addressing them. So again, return the lands, let the lands heal. We are facing a dire future. You see the wildfires across the United States. You see the heat dome. We are going down. But let me tell you, the demise of capitalism is leading to the renewal of indigenous economies of abundance. Kanaka Maoli will survive, but the military cannot. So thank you very much.
No, it's 213. That was 215.
216. 216, 217. 217, are you going to? Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Nice to see you again.
All right. Aloha Kahuku. I'd like to first mahalo everybody for being here and mahalo every strong voice that has spoken. I'd also like to mahalo my kupuna for being the reason I'm here and for standing on my shoulders and giving me the strength to speak. My name is Kahuku and I'm 19 years old. I testify before you as one of the many youth that strongly oppose the renewal of this lease and the continued illegal occupation of Hawaii. To begin with, I'd like to express our dread in the future of Hawaii. You have created an environment where kids are unsure of their future, of their culture, of their identity, and of their safety. So many Hawaiians have lived and still live in poverty. And to those that do not, they're barely scraping by as the military is pressing out my people from their own land. And it will only get worse as time goes on. Now I know you military want to slowly kill us off, and I know that's your ultimate plan, it has always been, but I want to ask you this. How do I raise a family in this regime we live in? How can I bring somebody into this world where they will die just trying to exist? My ancestors suffered because of you. My ancestors starved because of you, and my ancestors died because of you. They did all of this in the hopes that we would have a future, but you will be taking away this future. Will I have to die because of you too? It is no secret that America, KKK, loves using and killing off cultures for its own gain. It's happened since its very conception, and it's been happening across the world today.
the only beneficiaries of the military staying here is the military and the U.S. You have zero interest in Hawaiians, and as someone before me said, the fact that we're the ones that have to testify to you is the very evidence, the only evidence I need. I know this will likely fall on deaf ears on your side, but I speak to you, my people, to say that as Uncle before me said, we, the future generations, will carry the fire. We will carry our ancestors' rage, and we will carry Hawaii into a future that is for us and not you. Aole renewal, aole military, aole America.
219?
No, 218 coming.
218, okay.
Be on me.
Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Melissa Promasio, the Queen's granddaughter, as Auntie says over here. My grandfather, Junior, yes, served at Vietnam, and military has been in our family for generations. I'm the oldest of 10 children, and I have 5 siblings who serve for the military. And I'm a very big supporter of the military. We've also been a 9th generation family that has lived in Kahuku, so I've lived here practically all of my life. I'm on the fence. Do not get mad at me, but I'm on the fence because Kahuku has gone through so many changes that we didn't want, nor did we like, but it was shoved down our throats. And the reason why I'm on the fence is because Kahuku has been my home. My son is laid to rest in the training area. I visit him once a month, and it is beautiful up there. And so I don't know how much desecration has gone, but it's a very beautiful ride up there, and it's a very lonely ride home, because I leave my son. But I can visit my son because it's not developed. People with big money have not bought out, is that we are fighting the wrong people. This testimony to you should be to our governor, not to you folks. We're fighting the wrong people. And because the governor, like Uncle said, this is a forced meeting. You guys have to have so many meetings with the community before a deal can be signed. Because I was chair for our Kahuku Community Association. We had to have so many meetings to meet project levels for approval. So I'm on the fence because I don't want development or private owners to come and buy it out or take it on, and then I will never be able to go visit my son. But at the same time, you guys pay $1, or you guys leave trash, or you guys just don't work with us with what we want. So if you guys do, and there's 2 other individuals who brought up, if you guys do renew your retention or your lease, can you guys continue to use only rubber bullets in Kahuku training? Because we don't live with live ammunition going around. I can't say for the other communities that have their training centers, but in Kahuku, we don't deal with live rounds, and that gives me some peace for my grandchildren and the future generations to come. But I don't want to be here blind, and then you guys don't get your lease, and then we have a landfill in Kahuku. How many times is Kahuku gonna have to tell the government that we shouldn't have things that are unsafe for our community in our community? How many more fights, whether you get your lease or not, are we gonna have meetings here in Kahuku High School about our safety and our well-being in our own community? That's where I'm at, and that's why I am on the fence, because I don't know if this is good or bad, because I don't know what the government has cooked up after this. Mahalo.
Mahalo, thank you very much. 219.
We'll get him.
Aloha, my name is Elizabeth Rego-Kaili, and I'm a resident of Kahuku. My connection to this aina is deeper than residency, though. As a tangata whenua to Aotearoa, I am Taina, a younger sibling to Kanaka, and as a younger sibling, it's my kuleana and responsibility, and my blessing to protect this aina. I've worked with members of the military with PTSD, and many understand their role in desecration and poisoning of the aina, a sky, a mammal, of marine life. Participation in the culture of war can cause a compromise of self-respect and chips away at their very soul, just as the military-industrial complex attempts to chip away at the very soul of the lands and people of Hawaii. The military causes trauma in their own troops, even as they attempt to perpetuate generational trauma of the people of Hawaii. For the same reasons articulated by people more smart and wise than I, A'ole to the extension military leases. It's time for the military to use the next 4 years to clean up the land and return it to the Kanaka Mountain. Thank you.
$220. 22. Is that yours, sis? Is she coming up? Okay. Thank you for your patience.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Colonel, we meet again, and you've got a friend. Now, what is your name and your ranking?
Hey, I am Colonel Rachel Sullivan. In a little over a week, I will replace Colonel McGungle as the garrison commander for Garrison Hawaii.
It is interesting to meet you under these circumstances. I wanted to get to know who you were, as yesterday I introduced Mr. McGonagall to my ancestors, and now my ancestors will talk with yours. And they will go with you wherever you go on every deployment until you help our Hawaiian people get our aina back. In a good way. I know this is heavy kuleana, responsibility that you take on as a job. I'm not anti-military because I know in the world there is war. I know that people need to protect themselves, and that's what this is about. Environmental impact, look at the community, the impact of hearing bombs, of knowing that the wind could carry poison. That's the impact, the greater impact, the unseen impact. Just like my kupuna, unseen, but they are here. They're here with all these people. All of the military people you bring here, they all bring their kupuna. And there's a different conversation happening there. Hopefully one of peace. And I hope that in your military service, it is not to fight a war, but to find peace. Senator Favela referred to Saddam Hussein. Okay, so quick history lesson, Saddam Hussein, he was from Iraq, he invaded Kuwait, okay? And he made a provisional government. Does anybody know what a provisional government is? That happened here in Hawaii. I'm gonna go over. That happened here in Hawaii. A provisional government, and then fake annexation. Okay, so Saddam Hussein is in Kuwait, and the world, 42 countries, the United States of America, we send in troops. Troops that I assume were trained in these lands on this aina to help a country who is occupied become unoccupied. That does not make any sense. I mean, history, common sense. But we spent years, Persian Gulf War I, Persian Gulf War II. Yes, I have family who served in the military in both of those wars. Maybe you have friends, families, and comrades that you know who have had the effects of those wars. But right now, this state is military occupied. This government is not the government of Hawaii. This is a sovereign nation that has been occupied for 131 years. But the US government wants to go help the other guy get out of the other guy's country who's being occupied by military occupation. This makes no sense. Like, we need to have
some history lessons given out to the colonels, the generals, the soldiers, to understand where you stand, where you are. And it's not to say that you're not doing your job because you're doing a job because you need to take care of your family. I get that, I understand humanity. What I'm saying, if there's anything you take away when you walk away from here, is to know the history of the place that you lie your head at night. To know the history of my people. To know that we're early oppressed. But then we're gonna go help your military, help the oppressed over there. What is going on? Enough military training. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's happening. We need to have some peace training. We need to have some diplomacy. You know, that's the art of compromise, diplomacy. We need to have conversations, face-to-face, tough conversations, without guns. Thank you, at least the police and all the guys is actually sitting tonight and taking a relax. But this does not make any sense. We're helping you prepare for war, where there is war on our soil. But the Hawaiians are peaceful, so we're not fighting with guns. Again, fighting with our education, fighting with our knowledge, fighting with our prayers, and fighting with aloha. I will wrap it up. Again, couple of history lessons. Go watch Saddam Hussein's interview. He said it in an interview. I will deoccupy Kuwait once the superpower of the United States of America deoccupies the nation of Hawaii. We are occupied. So we're actually, this doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. On like the common sense level, take that away. I don't know, you probably have to go get educated to get all those things on your shoulders. Educate yourself on history. Which side are you on? Whose war are you fighting? It is not your war, just leave.
Thank you very much. Number 221. Thank you for waiting.
To hear all the testimonies today. It's late, I'm going to try to make it short. My name is Leilani. I'm actually a Lino descendant of Wairoa, where you folks have your training ground, which is expected to end. I want to say thank you to the gentleman that left that stood up and talked about freedom, which got me to stand up right now because it infuriated me. I'm tired, but it doesn't seem like it infuriated you. He has no knowledge of the genocide that has happened. You should be well versed into our story before you come and occupy. As a displaced descendant, two of our ancestral land is in the training boundary grounds of that training ground. But I understand that it's there, but I'm here to oppose because I know what it's like to be displaced. I'm against the renewal. You don't belong here. There needs to be an investigation on the titles. The land is supposed to serve and should serve the people, not the military. It needs to be returned. It is our right as descendants, as beneficiaries, and it's also our human right to thrive, because it needs to just be done, and we need to have a chance. Give us a chance. I don't have the privilege of visiting my kupuna, like the lady, the female here, can visit her son. I don't have that privilege. Historically, the military has been a bad steward and tenant. If this was a real estate deal, you would have to show good standing, and you do not have good standing. So your renewal of your lease would not happen in a real estate deal. I don't know. The continuation of this occupation of our land is a continuation of the genocide. Thank you. Mahalo.
Can everybody see my hand? Look, yeah. You guys all can see it? But nobody's paying attention to this. What is this? It's money. We're all sitting here blaming these guys. That guy was falling asleep last night. He slept for 3 testimonies. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's not his fault. I don't blame him. He doesn't care. He's here because someone tells him to be here. Do we have any state representatives here? They're gone outside. I think the state representatives should stay to the end. We're all here. So unfortunately, some people left that were for it, and understand everybody has their own opinions. You guys know how long it takes to drive around the island? It takes 3 hours. You know how long it takes to drive across Texas? I drove from the middle of Texas. It took me 6 hours, and I couldn't believe that I was still in Texas. So last night someone said, go to Texas. Because 10 hours, you would have went past your house 3 times over here. I'm more representing the Dirtbike community. I'm a 3rd generation motorcycle rider. I have kids who are 4th generation. It's kind of funny because I pack one of them around. Their ages are 10 and 5. And the other one follows me. And the rough part is, I'm in these mountains right here, and I come across a unexploded ordnance that stretched from my fingertip to my elbow. Right back here. You guys say that there's blanks being fired? Nope. I see 50 cal slugs out on the ground. So it's kind of rough believing that. No more than from me to where you guys are sitting at my camp, there's barbed wire that my kids have to watch out for. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Where am I going to put it? In the dumpster? I'm not sure. What I'm told is that just mark the location and they'll come grab it. It's been like 5 years, it's still there. There's more that's within 100 yards of where I park my car. That's all on our land. I'm riding by with my kids. It's unfortunate that many of our riders had to leave. They all have other things to take care of their kids they have to pick up. The last time there was a fire out there from one of the residents, we're up there on the weekdays. We're not even allowed to be there on the weekdays. I, myself personally, again, was putting out the fires. Riding around on a bike. We weren't supposed to have our dirt bike, so I was riding a bicycle. Putting out fires, but it's the military's property at that time, during the weekdays. We gotta ask for permission. And then you guys get it for $1, we have to pay thousands. We only get it twice a week. You guys get it the other 5 or whenever you feel like it. I've been up there for a long time, and I've also put on a lot of races myself, and I learned more about the land and the plants and animals from riding than I did from Boy Scouts. We make a footprint this big, but we get blamed for everything. The devil weeds and all this stuff. Our footprint from our tire is this wide, at most, but somehow it's our fault. But then there's a bomb right now that I found with my own eyes, sitting out there. I don't know if it's gonna blow up or not. I'm not gonna find out. I also found simulator grenades and things like that, smoke bombs. So So yeah, my name's Kopili. That stands for bonding and togetherness, if you guys are wondering. The final thing is, I'm Hawaiian by birth, but I'm American by force.
Go!
2, 2, 3. Somebody said you? Okay.
Aloha. So, everybody here in this community has already said so much, and I have nothing to add in terms of the reasons why you should not continue with this attempt to lease these lands from the state of Hawaii, who has no rightful power to lease them in the first place. However, I would like to ask that you please add to the final EIS 4 words. And Kehao, I would ask you if you could please make sure that these 4 words are clearly written as such in the final EIS. And those 4 words are, they do not consent. They do not consent. In every community that you have gone to, they do not consent. I don't want to read a final EIS that talks about how, oh, we heard strong feelings from so many people. We heard passionate speeches and stories about history and all of that stuff. What I want to see is they do not consent. Say it about every single place that you have gone, and very clearly, and don't try to make it into anything else. So, Kehao, I'm kind of ask you because, you know, I know, and not to try to put it on you, but I know that it may be difficult to understand the concept of free, prior, and informed consent, although, you know, we kind of like expect all of our OPO to understand that when they go out on a date, right? So, you know, it's not actually that hard to grasp. But if you don't have consent of the people, then you're not their government, for one thing. You know, you are an occupier, and it's not a, you know, there's not anything, any exchange that can make it other than that. That is occupation, and that should be said in there somewhere. But what I really want is just that simple clarity that is very clear when you refer to every single community that you spoke to. And just to make it clear for those few who are over there, if you guys agree, then I'd like for everybody to say, we do not consent, okay? We do not consent. Mahalo. Thank you very much. 2, 2, 4. Hello.
Hi, I spoke yesterday, so I'll just keep this short. As a lifelong resident of Oahu, born and raised, I oppose the renewal of these leases, no action alternative, but also give this land back to the people of Kahuku. And to all of you, wherever you are from, keep building and organizing power so that they do not object. Military or state, that auntie who spoke earlier should not have to worry about her son's grave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last? Iulai, okay. Are you 225? Okay.
fast, but wanted to make sure we got in. Aloha, aloha kukiri kua kamai no ka aina o pula ka awawa waina mai au. Mahalo oko noho oi I Kahuku. Mahalo nui no Mako. So having come out all this way, I'm definitely going to say something. Try not to be redundant, but you folks have heard this before. So Hawaii is very strategic by our location, always has been. That's why Hawaii has been occupied by the United States. There is no treaty. There is no treaty. There was no annexation. There was no consent. The Queen did not concede to America to give us up. She said, for such a time when the people of America recognize their wrongdoing and right that wrong. That time is now. War is so ready and ripe that my baby here, my firstborn Mokupuni, may not have a Mokupuni because of what all the warmongers are doing. And America is the #1 warmonger. Then you have Russia and China. We have too much bully factors. But regarding the EIS, no action is the alternative. Not only do we not consent, we want you to go back. Practice your war games, your warmongering on your own island. And I apologize to the natives of that continent because they didn't want you there either. And they don't want you desecrating their lands either. But you've done that. And so try to respect them like you need to respect the people of Hawaii. We are done. We are done with this. There are 68,500 people that are employed by the U.S. That is 30,000 people, way too many. Probably 20,000 of our homes that should be for people that want to be here, especially for people that are from here. You know, we talk about all of the impacts. Every single block, you folks, America, not you specifically, Colonel, but it would have been nice to meet you last night as well, considering you taking over. But people have busy schedules, so we'll take that into consideration. Every single one of the blocks, it's a negative impact. What the military is and has done to my Aina, to all of our Aina, because we receive and we welcome people. So as Kanaka Maoli, we know that this is our home, but we welcome other people that want to live here for what here has to offer. We love to be improved, to get better, but if this isn't good enough for some people that think it's a state, maybe they should go back to the Continental 48. They should go to those other places that actually chose to be a state. This is a fake state. I know who I am. He Hawaiian Maua Mau. I am a Christian by choice, Kanaka Maoli by birth, American by kidnapping. Identity theft. America committed that amongst all of us that have been born here since January 17, 1893, or since a provisional government or your so-called annexation. My kingdom of Hawaii continues to this day, and this will come out. This will come out. So I do this for a matter of record, because it's beyond you. Okay, how it's beyond you. But like Tita said, yeah, we do not consent. We never have ever consented, and we will never consent to being American or a part of America. Except for those, you know, indoctrinated American patriots, so be it. Everybody should have a free choice. But us Kanaka Maoli that have learned our history and have been able to overcome the anger, the pain, the suffering, the trauma that has occurred, not just to me and mine, but to my parents, to my kupuna that came before me. They had to survive what treasonous people did to our queen. So they had to hang out and they had to go undercover. They survived and we kept the Ike. We kept all that was important to a people so that we can continue for our babies. So I want to thank you so much for staying out late again, and thank everybody for having us. But Yankee, go home.
And then Lenny, when you're called, do you mind closing with Pule when you're called?
I'm going to go last.
You don't go last.
I'm going to go last.
You don't go last and you go close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aloha, my Hawaii. I am from Waianae. Aloha again, you see me again. Because even though I'm from Waianae, I protect Kahuku, I protect all of the areas of Hawaii through and through. That we all connected, no matter what. Yeah, so we can stand for each and every one of us. Right? Mahalo Kahuku for allowing us from Waianae and every place else to be here. I waited until the end to give the opportunity to our Kahuku Ohana to speak first. Yeah? I'm not gonna go over again what I shared. Told you. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna go over it again. Just a little bit. Again, you've heard from many of us that you are talking to the wrong people. The state of Hawaii does not own any land in Hawaii at all. First thing, I speak to the people in the camera over there. You'd like to deal with anything with us? Follow the international laws of occupation. First and foremost, the Hawaiian Kingdom laws that exist till today. That's the first thing that you must do to show good faith to us for all of this desecration, destruction, death. I'm gonna go over that again, yeah? That you've done to our people, to our aina, that we love so much, right? Tomorrow, Mr. Steve, I'm glad you heard us a little bit, right? You brought your friend here, right? But she's on the same level as you. We asked you to bring somebody higher than you. Right? So I'm gonna ask you again, so that you can hear us again. We don't want to speak to you, sorry. We want to speak to the higher ups, right? Because you don't make the decisions. They do. So bring them tomorrow, please. Right? Everybody has brought so much hurt, so much pain, so much some solutions, yeah? We say no. No, no, no. I told you guys that last night. Right? You, in the camera, need to just fund us. Need to pay for all the things that you've destroyed. Need to pay for us to be able to live in this time of detriment that you have caused. Yeah, that's all you have to do. That's that's two kudas that you have. Follow the international laws of occupation, fund our people of Hawaii to clean up your mess, because you are not from here. We are. We have connections to this aina. Our kupuna is buried all over this aina that you destruct. And you don't give a shit about that. We do. We do. It hurts. So just pay us. Pay us for the wrong that you have done. Again, train our people that are Kanaka of and from this place, right, to operate, to understanding how to operate all of your equipment, because none of that is going with you when that time comes for this weekend. Because it's gonna happen, okay? And they need to know how to run that. It's not yours, it won't be yours, it'll be ours, and they need to understand how to do that. Okay? You can fund all of our Kanaka that are learning how to, in the robotics field. You can fund them to go and get training on how to understand robotics, how to make robots, so that we can send our robots out to all these areas that you've destroyed that have ordnance still, to remove them. Fund that. I don't see you writing them down. Can you please write it down? Mr. Steve, I'm asking you to please write it down. Right? Fund that. Alright? There was another funding, but I forgot. My brain is shot right now because this is way too long. So I will be back tomorrow and tell you more of what I need to say. The rest of the moment, I just want to say real quick, Kahuku. Because I don't think they heard us. Yeah, you can see again, they only have this level of authority here. We want them up there, right? But they're not hearing us in what we're saying as far as, no. I'm an educator, I'm a kumu olero Hawaiian. I teach Hawaiian language. Before I say what I want to say to everybody else, the destruction that you've caused hurts me and hurts the keiki that are here as well. I teach Olelo Hawaii. Olelo Hawaii brings life. I need to be able to tell my stories, tell my kupuna stories of these places that you are destroying. If you keep destroying that, how is my kids going to see what my kupuna saw? How? That's not right. That's not fair for them. At all. Come. I invite you to Kala Farms. Right? Come, join me and our hui to get in the aina so you can understand why we love this place so much, how much it means to us. Hopefully something ignites in your na'au to change your mind and come on our side. Yeah? Because you're on the wrong side. Kako, again, they never hear. Yeah? And so, me being an Olelo Hawaii teacher, I cannot be that, and that's to teach Hawaii. Right? So we all know the Olelo, the Hua Olelo for no. Yeah? What's that, Kako? Awe. Olelo ho. Awe. Olelo ho. Awe. Do we want this to continue? Awe. Do we want them to retain these lands? Awe. Do we want the military to still be here? Awe. Some of us would hesitate on that one. I hope you heard that, sir and ma'am. We said no. All night long, yesterday, and we're going to see them again tomorrow. No. Please come with Q-tips. In fact, Noah, I will bring Q-tips for you tomorrow so you can hear us a little bit better. Right? And then tomorrow, one more thing, come with a little bit of smile. I know this is hard, but oh my gosh, you guys look like angry military people. Mahalo kako.
I think you get a ticket collected. You have to say your name, please. I know who you are, but
Hello, my kapo. O kapo huailari no puea maya. That's why I Valley. I just wanted to come up, but first of all, I want to forgive Nunui Keloha to our Napoyo Kahuku, from our family in Kahuku for showing up. And we came here from Waianae for kako them. Because when things go down in Mākua, Kahuku gonna come and kako us. Yo? Yeah. Kahuku gonna be there with us. Colonel Steve and then Colonel Rachel. I'm gonna see you at the neighborhood board because I sit on the Waianae neighborhood board. You guys cycle out every time. It's gonna be, you're probably gonna be like my 8th colonel since I've been on the board. But I just wanted to share in more the words of our Queen Liu Kamani. Never fear to act because you never cease to act because you fear you may fail. So all of us over here, we standing in that. And the truth, Colonel Steve and Colonel Rachel, you guys can learn all our history from Kehao. She knows exactly
what we've been talking about. Tita get 5 freaking PhDs. She can freaking tell you guys the truth. Okay, so, you know, so the indoctrination of us Kanaka, like Dr. Kianusai said, the denationalization was pledging allegiance every day. I've been out of school 40 years and I can still recite that. Mahalo Kyoko, my 3 boys, they was all homeschooled. They don't know how to say that. They don't know how to sing My Country Steals the Teeth. Whose country? This is our country. If there was a treaty of annexation, we wouldn't even be here grumbling to you guys. But the bottom line, there was no treaty of annexation. Joint resolution, no whole freaking water. And that's the truth. And then at the ending of the Pledge of Allegiance, we liberty and justice for all. Where the liberty and justice for us? Huh? You know, I'm not anti-American, it's pro-Kanako Iwi. You know, you guys want Constitution. You guys want Constitution. Get some Mike Kaki and Pono freaking things inside it. But it's like you guys don't adhere to that. So Colonel Steve, I heard the Pentagon say watching. You guys get all of us. What is his name? You guys get everybody's name. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Yeah? In the words of James Collier, until the last aloha aina. This is our country. If you guys are true, honest Americans, you guys will do you guys' traditional duties. You guys should actually freaking go to General Hara. Yeah, I don't know if you guys got that letter from Kianusai. That's forcing General Hara by July 31st for doing his due diligence. Because under the laws of international laws of occupation, the laws to be adhered here is the Hawaiian Kingdom laws, not U.S. constitutional law, not U.S. common law, it's the Hawaiian Kingdom law. So if you guys truly are, honest Americans, then could take some advice from Kiao. She can freaking share all the information. And all this information you guys got from all of us from last night, tonight, tomorrow night, even 3 years ago during COVID, those 2 nights, 100% in opposition. And you guys think in the Damashi, you guys jigging over here. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Aloha. Alright, I guess I get that on. Oyo, Yeshua, Minakua, Minakupuna. Mahalo nui, Lord, for bringing each and every one of us here safely. Even our oppressors. But we ask for traveling mercies for all of us going home tomorrow and bringing us back to Lelehua High School tomorrow. Just for our people showing up over here to Kuhe every day. Because no matter how wrong is wrong, truth is true. And we stand on truth. So I just ask that you take each and every one of us home safely and drill in the minds of the Pentagon, the colonels and the generals, and freaking Don Chang and Governor Green to be Pono. Makaino kamako kikeke me kauhane mulali. Ama mabuno. Abaipo